Hey, welcome back to another edition of Everything Football 62. I'm your host, Jonathan Big Tex Johnson, a.k.a. Uncle Tex, a.k.a. Professor Tex. As y'all well know, it's a big game tonight. Messing around with them Saints and my Cowboys and whatnot, so we're going to see how that's going to all play out and whatnot. Definitely time for Dallas to make a run. The playtime is over with now. They dilly-dallied and whatnot. Should be probably 10-1 now for all intents and purposes. If you're a football aficionado, you know what I'm talking about. Not so much a homer thing when it comes to that. Just like to see good football played, and they really have not played that. But this is something, doing some research and whatnot, and so I come to this here, as you can tell by the title. If you look at the history of the Dallas Cowboys and their championship teams that they've had over the last 60-some-odd years, the one thing that was constant that they always had a good running game. Dating back to the days of Don Perkins, back there in the mid to latter part of the 60s. The remarkable Calvin Hill came in, who was somewhat of a forgotten guy. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was Offensive Rookie of the Year. Had a couple of 1,000-yard seasons there, as well as went to a couple of Super Bowls and got a ring. And had a nice career. Finished up in with the Skins. Dwayne Thomas' little 2-year run there. Two Super Bowl teams where he was on those teams with Calvin Hill. A little bit later on, you had the great Tony Dorsett come, and then of course you had the great Emmitt Smith. And then some years a little bit after that, after Emmitt Smith and whatnot, you had DeMarco Murray, who had a nice little 3-year run there, and actually holds the Dallas Cowboys single season yards rushing, 1,845 yards. That's back in 2014. They had a really nice team. Infamous Dez didn't make the catch team. Then in 2016, which, after a while wasn't fashionable, because once upon a time, even going back to those days of like Emmett, even going back to days of Tony Dorsett. I mean, back when they would still take running backs in the first round. That wasn't going on. Mike Shanahan had his little thing going on with the different backs and whatnot, making it to that point where he was like, where I'll find backs in the second round and be successful. I'll do this and be successful, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So people wasn't really drafting backs like they was back in the day, right? So in 2016, Jerry Jones and his team and whatnot taking on the stud running back coming out of Ohio State, Ezekiel Elliot. Zeke made an immediate impact. Zeke actually led the league in rushing that particular year, his first year, 2016, 21 years old. If you look at the impact, Zeke, immediate impact, first 5 years in the league, led the league in rushing twice, in carries, and in 3 years in a row, average per game. If you take a look at Zeke's numbers for his first 6 years, are admirable to that of the great Emmitt Smith. Zeke needs to eat. Now, we make fun. He does that, get up, and when he makes that first down, he definitely needs to eat, right? And that's one of the things I've said in the years that if you look at the years that they won the NFC East, well, Ezekiel Elliott was the league's leading rusher. Okay? They should have won the league. They should have, probably with the exception of the year when Philly actually won it, they should be still winning the East. They gave it away a couple of years. I mean, don't even get me started. I don't even want to go down that route there. I don't even want to go down there. I don't want to talk about 2019. I don't even talk about that. But 2017, 2019, those 2 years, nah, man. So far this year, Zeke is not having a bad season. But Dallas in the last few games has fell behind, and they had to abandon the run and go and get to start throwing the ball 45, 50 doggone times a game. In the last 4 games, Dallas has lost 3. In those 4 games, Zeke has only touched the ball 42 times. That's basically right at 10 times a game. As far as carries are concerned, not dealing with the dink and dunking of the passing thing, of the passing game, but for carrying what running back is supposed to do. He needs to get carries. I mean, I know Zeke is a little bit banged up after he gets a bruised knee, but I think he's going to play tonight from what I've read. And his O-line needs to definitely play better. Definitely, them guys got to get going. When Zeke is doing this thing, he's one of the best in the biz. However, last year, which was probably his worst year, he fumbled the ball like 6 times. He didn't rush for 1,000 yards. That was only the second time in his career. First time was the second. And the only other time he didn't do that was the little incident that he had before coming to the pros. A little incident dealing with that little old gal he was messing around with, and it got him suspended for 6 games. Zeke still has an opportunity to be one of the best to do it. Dallas has the talent this year to make a deep playoff run and possibly the Super Bowl. I still say it goes through Zeke, as history has shown us. Dak is being featured and throwing the ball for a lot of yards, which is good. But if you go back to those Cowboys teams of the 70s, parts of the 80s, and definitely the 90s, that was the great net and the great wall. Dallas was running the ball that opened up the passing game for Playmaker, Harper, Novacek, and all the rest of them guys. Dallas is even more of a potent passing game than those particular teams. If they can get Zeke the ball consistently and get the line healthy and run block better, they'll be a hard out. You know, the ball has to be in Zeke's hand. If history tells us anything about the Cowboys and their championship runs, it started and finished with the running game. Now let's do a little homework here. Emmitt Smith's first 6 years in the league, 7,472 yards, 96 touchdowns, a Hall of Famer, ended up being a Hall of Famer and a 3-time Super Bowl champ. Tony Dorsett, first 6 years in the league, 7,015 yards, 45 touchdowns, Hall of Famer, 1-time Super Bowl champ. Zeke, first 6 years, he does have 7 games left. And remember, Zeke missed 6 games from his second year. I always want people to kind of remember that. Zeke's at 7,104 yards to date, 54 touchdowns. Still has 7 games left. It is time for Zeke to make a run and have his name amongst those that came before him and have a legendary run, all games that take him to that next level. Emmitt had a great bunch of great games. The Eagles game, I mean, I can go on. The Eagles game, I think when it went into overtime and I think that was the Vikings game. Overtime, the Eagles game on Monday night. I mean, it's endless. You know, it's endless, right? It's endless. But but that Giants game is what is just like, yeah, put them on the map, because that's by this time it's like by his fourth year in the league, right? 168 yards rush on 32 catches. Remember, he hurt his shoulder, had a broke a long run. If you went for 168 on 32 carries on a partial part of that on a bum shoulder, just think what he would have done if he did not have a bum shoulder, because he was slicing them with a bad shoulder. And then he caught 10 balls for a touchdown and I think 61 yards. Helped secure home field advantage for the playoffs. TD did it in other ways. But always around, because they won. They had no losing season up and down while TD was there. Go back and check that. Won the Super Bowl his first year there as a rookie. Remember, when Dorsett got drafted, NFL was 57 years old. He had became the first player to rush for 1,000 yards in his first 5 seasons. No other player had even done it, not even the great Jim Brown. When Jim Brown came in the league, his rookie year, he ran for like 937, 940 or something like that, which was a rookie record and whatnot. And after then, Jim Brown went on a tear, but he didn't do it his first 5 years. Even though by that time when Jim Brown did it, the NFL was like 37 years old. Jim Brown, year in and year out after that, Jim Brown would set the record and then break it, set the record and then break it again. That just shows you how potent he was. He, as his first 5 years, so no other player had done that. Dorsett was the first to do that. If you go back and check it out, it's like he had a 1,000-yard campaign 8 times in 9 years. The only reason he missed and not having it probably around 9 years in a row, close to 10 years in a row, to strike short the season of that of 1982. That's my freshman year in high school. And look at this. The effect that he had on his team can be gauged by the fact that he had rushed for 100 yards in 46 games. The Cowboys won 42 of those 46 games. TD was the first player in NFL history to rush for a 99-yard touchdown. So this is what I mean, where this, in my opinion, is Zeke's time to put himself and his team in elite company, upper echelon. This is legendary time for Zeke. This is the year. Zeke ain't but 26, but this is the time when he has, because he's hearing whispers, I know, but his numbers is favorable with those guys that Mount Rushmore of running backs for the Dallas Cowboys franchise. He's right up there with those guys, and he has the numbers right up there with those guys, right? And from a physical standpoint of view, he's probably the best from that aspect. 6 foot 220, 225 or whatever like that. Zeke's a hurdler in the whole 9 yard style. He runs hard. He brings the wood when he runs. But when you can't touch the ball, you can't do too much of anything. So that's what I said. Zeke needs to eat. And he needs to make this seven game run to possibly put him up 1350. And he already has 8 touchdowns. He already has 8 touchdowns. So you look at this, so right now with Zeke, right? What needs to get going on with Zeke, because he's at 720 yards. He's rushing 4.5 a lick. Right? 4.5. He has 8 touchdowns already in 11 games. He could finish up with about, he can finish up with 5-6 more. He can still end up rushing for probably 1330. I'm going to give him 1350. 14 touchdowns. He still should be able to pull that one off. But he got to get rolling tonight. It got to happen tonight. The Cowboys got to get rolling tonight. They can't be playing now. They dandelion and playing and pussyfooted around. It has to happen tonight. They need to take advantage of an injured Saint team and roll on them boys and don't look back, because Washington looks good and Philly, them guys are hanging around. Them guys are hanging around like bad gas. And Dallas could not even win a game how weak as the NFC East was last year. And they're even showing to be even weak this year. But it's like Dallas has been in the upper echelon for most of this year, for half of the season. And now they are going on basically 1-3 in the last 4 games. They got to pick it up. And it starts with Zeke. Zeke has got to eat. He got to eat. And he got to eat from now on to the end. He's got to eat if Dallas is going to be anywhere up in the playoffs. You look at the teams in the NFL today, them guys from the Colts, the 49ers, the Pats, you know what I'm saying? The Pats, those guys are running the football, man. They're running the football. You have to run the ball, man. You can still run the ball and be successful in the NFL. All right? Like you guys, smash the like button, subscribe to the page, share, and whatnot. Got any comments? Leave them down below. Anything about the show, whatever. Help a brother with the any suggestions and whatnot. I'm all ears, man. And like I tell you guys all the time, there's no greatest of all time as long as time's still going on. And I gotta tell you guys all the time, numbers don't lie and get emotional. People do. You guys enjoy the game. I might be back a little later. You guys have a good one.